Here on Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Aaron Maté.
Well, we turn now to the massacre in Santa Barbara, California, where a gunman killed 6 other people and wounded 13 others. Elliot Rodger, a 22-year-old college student, fatally stabbed 3 roommates at his apartment complex near the University of California, Santa Barbara. He then opened fire at a nearby sorority house, killing 2 women. Rodger continued his rampage with a drive-by shooting on scores of pedestrians, killing 1. The attack ended when he crashed his vehicle, found dead at the wheel of what police called a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The rampage was part of a plot Rodger outlined in videos and a manifesto posted online hours before. He described his anger at being sexually rejected by female classmates. He spoke of launching a, quote, war on women for failing to see him as, quote, the true alpha male.
Girls have never been attracted to me. I don't know why you girls aren't attracted to me, but I will punish you all for it. It's an injustice, a crime, because I don't know what you don't see in me. I'm the perfect guy. I'll take great pleasure in slaughtering all of you. You will finally see that I am, in truth, the superior one, the true alpha male.
Elliot Rodger was armed with 3 semi-automatic handguns and multiple rounds of ammunition, all of which he'd purchased legally. In an emotional statement the following day, Richard Martinez spoke out about the loss of his 20-year-old son, Christopher, who was killed in the rampage. Martinez denounced the National Rifle Association, the politicians who stand in the way of gun control.
Why did Chris die? Chris died because of craven, irresponsible politicians and the NRA. They talk about gun rights. What about Chris's right to live? When will this insanity stop? When will enough people say, stop this madness? We don't have to live like this. Too many have died. We should say to ourselves, not one more.
The massacre also prompted an unprecedented reaction online, with tens of thousands of women joining together to tell their stories of sexual violence, harassment, and intimidation. By Sunday, the hashtag #YesAllWomen had been used over 500,000 times, the most on Twitter. In speaking out, women were placing the shooting inside a broader context of misogynist violence. While there's been intense scrutiny of the shooter's background and mental illness, there's been far less focus on a culture of violence in which nearly all mass shootings are carried out by men, and people like Elliot Rodger feel entitled to victimize the women who reject them.
In her new book, Men Explain Things to Me, the writer, historian, activist Rebecca Solnit tackles this issue and many others. She writes, quote, "We have an abundance of rape and violence against women in this country and on this earth, though it's almost never treated as a civil rights or human rights issue or a crisis or even a pattern. Violence doesn't have a race, a class, a religion, or a nationality, but it does have a gender," she writes. Rebecca Solnit joins us from the studios of San Francisco, a writer, historian, and activist. She's written over a dozen books, including her latest, Men Explain Things to Me. She's also contributing editor at Harper's Magazine. Rebecca, your response to what happened in Santa Barbara over the weekend on Friday.
One of the things that was fascinating was the battle of the story. There was such a mainstream desire to say, oh, this was aberrant, oh, he was mentally ill, this has nothing to do with us, this raises no big questions. And to see feminists and allies speak out and say, no, this is about misogyny, this is about entitlement, was really extraordinary. The term sexual entitlement, which I'd heard before but not widespread, suddenly began to be used everywhere, and it feels like it really changed the conversation because so many people insisted on it, so many people got it. The sense that this guy was owed something by women and was furious at them for not giving it to him, and that he had the right to exact revenge and all kinds of, you know, what our government calls collateral damage on the people around him because his needs weren't being met.